Nothing stopping Fulham at the moment as they hit 13 goals in just 2 matches. But of course, what's going to happen this week? We'll take a little look next. Folks, back once again with another prediction video today. We look forward to match day number, I think it's 28. That's right. Match day number 28 over the championship, and we'll get to that in just one second. If you're new, where you been, stop what you're chewing, swallow what you're doing, all the other way around, and smash your subscribe to get your bang up to date. All things championship related, Blackburn Rovers related, world football related. We got all here, boys, under one roofski. That's right. Big wins for Fulham, and of course Blackburn Rovers this week to keep their shots of automatics alive. But of course, what went on with bloody Bournemouth down at Luton? We'll talk all about it in a second. Of course, big shout out to my VIPs. They're the Patreons. Thank you, beloved. If you want to help us out, down below in your Patreon, check it all out. Of course, you do get perks and privileges. We'll elaborate on that in a little bit, of course. So big shout out to you guys. But anyway, let's get cracking and have a look at how we all got on last round over in the Championship. Now, this was an extended match day. We have another one of those to you today. Of course, there's some catch-up games with COVID causing all kinds of problems. But anyway, let's turn the clock back. Of course, Reading up against Fulham. There we go. 7-0 demolition. I watched a bit of that game and I felt really sick. I know we've been there on the end of one of those as well. But we had 10 men, I believe. So we were a little bit, we can be held a little bit accountable for that, but felt really queasy for Reading. But what are they eating for bloody breakfast at Fulham at Craven Cottage? 7-0 win for them. Barnsley against Stoke again. They'll do it all again another time. I think it was originally postponed. That was the rescheduled date, and now they're doing it again. It's a right old mess. Meanwhile, Rovers squeaked past Cardiff with a 1-0 win. Happy days about that. To keep ourselves in the mix still for top 2. Meanwhile, Derby County again did us a massive favour by denting the hopes of Sheffield United, who of course been cruising at the moment. Barnsley against Blackpool again, postponed. We'll have to do that again. Fulham continue where they left off with a 6-2 win over Bristol City. I thought Bristol City had a bit of hope there as they took the lead and of course regained. I think they got themselves back in it before the shit hit the fan with Fulham once again. Middlesbrough left it late. 2-1 win over Reading. I was gutted about that as well. And of course, same can be said for Cooper's boys. 1-0 win over Forest. A 1-0 win for Forest over Millwall. Meanwhile, of course, lastminute.com equaliser for Swansea to take the points off of Huddersfield. Of course, dent their hopes as well. Hull City did get battered by Stoke today. That was fresh off the thing. Of course, the game of the day, really, well, besides the one at Cardiff, was a 3-2 win for Luton Town over Bournemouth. Goodness gracious me. Peterborough picked up a loss against Coventry. Of course, got themselves back in the hunt for playoffs as well with a 4-1 win. Preston, of course, got a draw against Birmingham, or should I say Birmingham got a draw against Preston. And of course, QPR left it late as well to get a result against West Brom. Goodness gracious me. What about the shape of the table? Well, here it is in all your glory. Of course, Fulham lead the charge, 51 points. They are 2 points clear over Bournemouth and Blackburn Rovers. They have a game in hand as well, so they look quite comfortable at the moment. Of course, Bournemouth hot and cold at the moment. Of course, we don't know what Bournemouth is going to show up. Rovers, though, continue to do what they're doing at the moment. 5 points clear over QPR, but they have a game in hand, so realistically that's only 2 points clear, so don't rule them out, of course. Anyway, West Brom, of course, having a bit of dip of form without a win in 4 now. Of course, Middlesbrough still in the top 6 as well with 4 wins on the bounce. Barnsley, at the moment, going down. They are bottom of the table. Of course, Barnsley going down. Derby, of course, got themselves a bit of hope. They played 2 games more, though. Peterborough also got a couple of games more as well. Let's take a look at, of course, then Prediction League. Here we go. Of course, this is for this week and this week alone. Take a bow. Ultra Omemia smashed it. Absolutely smashed it. 10 there for him. Sheffield got himself 7. Of course, Russell Frost got 7 as well. And of course, the other boys in there in the mix. Damien Evan, of course, Shane O'Donnell, Deep at the Great, and Winky all picked up 7. Daddy Cool as well. Frosty as well. Of course, big shout out to my Patreons. Of course, they do get access to the master plan, which, of course, the mega leaderboard. But, of course, this is the state of play for the second half of the campaign. Damien Evan picks up, of course, 10 points. Is that right? Hang on a minute. Is that exactly the same as what I just did? No, it isn't. It isn't exactly the same. So this is the actual leaderboard. Yes, it is. So this is the second half of the season leaderboard. Damien Evan with 10. Ultra Omir with 10. Frosty's up there as well. Shepard as well, kicking ass. Deep at the Great, make up the power 3. And a big shout out to the Patreons for doing their bit for the channel. Of course, we're trying to get we are begrudgingly trying to get our asses up there and trying to create some mega content. And I am busting my balls behind the scenes by trying to reach out to get some Avengers here to help support the channel. If you are a potential Avenger and want to get involved, let me know down below. Of course, if you know EFL content, football, Premier League content, international content, if you want to be a star of a show, of course, get involved with the channel. We could talk shop. There's a business arrangement. A bit of business arrangement. Anyway, let's kick it off forward. Take a look at the next round of matches. But before that, if you want to get involved, cut the Championship is the way to go for your predictions. So get in amongst it there. Let's take a look at, of course, the next round of matches then, shall we? Of course, it is a bit of an extended match day, and we're going to hopefully cover them all for you right here, right now. Let's kick it all off with, of course, the midweek games. Preston North End. They're going to be hosted Sheffield United. Of course, Preston with a new manager bounce, perhaps. Played 39 times the year 2010 wins for Preston, 16 wins for Sheffield United, and we've got 13 draws. Just one defeat past 4 games for Preston at the moment, 50% form. Back-to-back games without a win, though, if you want to look at it that way. Meanwhile, Sheffield United, back-to-back defeats for them as well, 67% form for them at the moment. Of course, last round at Deepdale was a 1-0 win for Sheffield United. That was back in April 2019. They did play each other already this season with a 2-2 draw down at Bramall Lane. Of course, Preston picking up a draw against Birmingham. Of course, Sheffield United losing back-to-back games now, back-to-back games without scoring a goal as well, against Derby County last time around. I do have odds on this one. Of course, the odds coming at you. We have 70-10 for Preston, 31-20 is your Sheffield United, and 23-10 is your draw. I'm smelling a win for Preston here. A 1-0 win for them. Of course, Heckingbottom might have turned it around a little bit, but is he the real deal? I don't think so. I don't think he is. I think he's faking it till he makes it. Ryan Lowe, of course, is young, gutsy, and hungry. I think he's got he's at the right club for him at this stage of his managerial career. So 1-0 win for North End here, and of course they'll take the bragging rights. Can the goal scoring machine of Fulham stop scoring goals? Well, we'll find out here. Played 33 times up against Birmingham. Of course, Fulham winning 13, Birmingham winning 9, 11 draws, of course. Fulham winning 3 in the bounce for them, 67% form up against the Birmingham side who haven't won in the last 6 matches. Of course, last round down at Craven Cottage was a 1-0 win for Fulham. That was way back in, of course, July 2020 in the Championship. They did play each other in the reverse fixture, of course, down St Andrews back in September. It was a 4-1 win for Fulham. Of course, Fulham picking up a 6-2 win against Bristol City last round. Of course, Birmingham picking up a late draw on the road against Preston. Look at the odds on this one then, shall we? 7-2 on is your Fulham, 4-1 is your draw, and 10-1 is your away win. That's Birmingham City on this one. I want to say Birmingham to get something out of this one, but I can't see it. I've gone with a 3-0 win for Fulham to continue pretty much where they left off. I think they'll win, but not as big as they have been doing. I think Birmingham, Lee Bowyer will, of course, be prepared, but eventually they'll cave in against Fulham in the end. Anyway, I've got the game of the day. It'll be Hull City up against Blackburn Rovers again. It's at the KCOM this time around. Of course, it was postponed once. Hopefully we'll get it around this time around. Played the 14 times 2008. 3 wins for Hull, 8 wins for Blackburn, of course, 3 draws for them. Hull City losing 4 in the bout, 17% form. Up against the Rovers side, just 1 win in 3 for them. Also 1 defeat, about 6 games as well for them at the moment. 25% form for them at the moment. Of course, Hull haven't won the last 6. Of course, so 70% form, and they haven't won the last 5 against Blackburn Rovers. So I'll elaborate on that in my own match preview, of course, coming on the channel very, very soon. Last round at the KCOM was a 1-0 win for Rovers. In fact, Rovers have won 5 on the bounce against Hull City and haven't conceded a goal in the last 5. That's quite an incredible stat. It's quite a worrying stat because every game now is a final for me, a cup final for Rovers. If we keep on winning, we just puts the pressure on the next game. Anyway, of course, Hull did lose to Stoke last time around. A narrow defeat though against Everton. Of course, Rovers picking up a 1-0 win over Cardiff to get back to winning ways as well. Look at the odds here: 2-1 is your Hull, 11-8 on is your Rovers, and 23-10 is yours. Still quite tight in the bookies, but I am going to go with Rovers here with a 2-0 win to back up the 1-0 win this past week. And Reading, of course, needed a result and fast up against the Luton Town side, who saved the day for me this past weekend. Played the 14 times these two sides, 9 wins for Reading, 3 wins for Luton, and 2 draws. Reading haven't won in the last 6 games, of course, 3 defeats on the bounce up against the Luton Town side, who are just 1 defeat past 6 games, 67% form for them at the moment. Of course, they are a sticky team to play. Last round at the Matchday was a 2-1 win for Reading. That was back on Boxing Day 2020. They also played each other. They haven't played each other this season. Of course, this is a rescheduled game. I believe it is a rescheduled game. Of course, Reading did lose to Middlesbrough, lastminute.com. Better response, though, from that Fulham mauling. Meanwhile, Luton Town picked up a 3-2 win over Bournemouth, lastminute.com winner there. And that was a shady-ass game, might I add, the Bournemouth Luton Town game, because they ruled out a Luton Town goal, not basically on a fake VAR. The referee looked at the fucking big screen. What's that all about? What is that all about? That's cheating. You know, I know it might have been proven right, but I've seen instances where Rovers have been hard done by penalty shouts, all other kinds of stuff that have been using the big screen, but then the referees never bloody looked at it. So why on earth did so anyway, regardless of all that, karma had its bloody day there. Of course, Luton coming out on top of the win. So fair play to Luton, and stick it up your arse, you cheating bastard referee. Of course, we have odds on this one then, shall we? Got Reading, of course, 12-5 for the Richie 220 is your Luton, of course. I think they are your favourites, 5-2 is your draw. I think Reading will nick this one, though, at least a point, 2-2 draw on the end. So Reading need a response, and they need a win now. but there are some managers out there that would do very, very well at Reading. Next, of course, we have Bournemouth up against Hull City. Of course, they will take on Hull City that hopefully would have lost to Rovers midweek. Anyway, these two sides have played the goal in my eyes around about 7 times 2002. 1 win for Bournemouth, 4 wins for Hull, and 2 draws. Of course, Bournemouth just won the past 4 for them, 50% form. I'm making the whole side who've lost 4 in the bounce. Of course, hopefully it'll be 5 in the bounce, of course, depending on what goes on midweek. Of course, last time in Bournemouth, there was a 6-1 win for Bournemouth. That was in the Premier League. That was back in October 2016. It's been a while, guys. Of course, Bournemouth picking up a 3-2 loss against Luton, and Hull picking up a 2-0 loss against Stoke last round. Look at the odds on this one then, shall we? We have Bournemouth 10-7 on for the Richies, 50-4 is your way, and 14-5 is your. Unfortunately, I think Hull will lose both this week. 2-1 win for Bournemouth, though, to get back to winning ways. And, of course, keep the heat back on Rovers at the top of the table. Of course, Birmingham City up against Barnsley. Let's take a look at this one then, shall we? Of course, Birmingham City needs some results and fast. Taking on Barnsley side, of course, having a bit of COVID issues at the moment. Of course, games in hand for them at St Andrews. 35 times they've played since 1993. 16 wins for Birmingham, 10 wins for Barnsley, and we've got 9 draws. Birmingham over there are winning 6 up against the Barnsley side, who've just 1 win and 6 as well. 42% form for Barnsley at the moment. Of course, last round at St Andrews was a 2-1 win for Barnsley. That was back, of course, December 2020 in the Valorant Ishmael area. Of course, they played each other this season as well. It was a 1-1 draw back in August on my birthday, of course, as well. Birmingham picking up a draw against Preston. Barnsley did beat Barrow in the FA Cup third round last round to give themselves a bit of a cup run, you would imagine. Of course, look at the odds on this one. We have 11-8 on is your Birmingham. The IFA's 4-1 is your draw. 30-5 is your 30-5 is your draw. 4-1 is your Wayman. That's Barnsley on this. Tight one here. Going to go with the Birmingham win for this one. Barnsley are in a bit of trouble. Their game of the day. Now, this is the game of the day because it's the only game in the Championship, and that's of course on Monday, the 24th of Jan. Is at Ewood Park. Of course, Rovers doing all right. Middlesbrough doing okay as well. Plus, 38 times since 1995. 14 wins for Rovers, 10 wins for Middlesbrough, and 14 draws. Rovers come into this 75% form, just 1 defeated past 6 up against the Middlesbrough side. 92% form, winning 5 on the bounce. Of course, last round at Ewood Park was a 0-0 draw, but Rovers unbeaten against Middlesbrough in the last 5 games, picking up quite a few draws, 3 draws at the last 4. Of course, last time I played at Ewood was a draw. Of course, Rovers picking up a 1-1 win over Cardiff. Middlesbrough 2-1 win over Reading as well. Realistically, I'm looking at this now and it smells like a 0-0 draw, but of course, the odds on this one, we've got to go with Rovers, of course, at 2019 on. They are your favourites. 40-5 is your Wayman. That's Middlesbrough, and 5-2 is your. It does smell like a 0-0 draw. It does. It reeks of it. It's live in front of the cameras as well. I'm going to go with a 2-1 win though for Rovers. I've got to back my boys here. I'm going to back my boys, and hopefully it'll be a massive week, massive few days for Rovers on this one. Blackpool, and if we do get through this with 6 points, you know what? I've got that feeling will change for me, and maybe I could actually think about top 2 as a realistic thing. Anyway, Blackpool up against Millwall then, down at Bluefield Road. 13 times I played to 2006, 5 wins apiece, 3 draws, of course, just 1 win and 4 though for Blackpool at the moment. 33% form up against the Millwall side. Won once the past 4 games, 5 games as well. 33% form for Millwall. Of course, last time I played at Bluefield Road was a 1-1 draw back in October 2015. That was in League One. Of course, Blackpool losing to Hartlepool in the FA Cup last round. Of course, Millwall losing to Forest last round. It's actually been back-to-back defeats for them. 3 defeats on the bounce, actually, for Millwall at the moment. Of course, the odds here, 5-4 is your Blackpool, 11-5 is your away win, and 23-10 is your draw. Going to go with Blackpool here, 2-0 win. Of course, back to winning ways, and of course, after back to playing in the Championship action. Me marking it for it is Bristol City against Cardiff. A bit of a rivalry there. Played to the corner of my eyes around about 29 times since 2002. 9 wins to Bristol City, 15 wins to Cardiff, and we've got 5 draws. Just 1 win and 6 for Bristol City, 25% form. Against Cardiff side, just 1 win and 6, also 33% form for them at the moment. Of course, last round over in Bristol City, Ashton Gate was a 2-0 win for Cardiff way back in February 2021. They also played each other this season in Wales. It was a 2-1 win for Bristol City as well. Of course, coming at you, Bristol City did lose to Fulham last round. Cardiff also lost to Rovers last round. Look at the odds on this one then, shall we? Have Bristol City 5-4 for the victory, 2-1 is your way, against Cardiff, and 5-2 is your draw. Going to go with the 1-0 win for Bristol City here to get back to winning ways, and of course keep them their hopes for safety alive. Coventry, who did well last round up against a QPR side, of course, who are also doing very, very well. This is a playoff encounter here, 6-pointer. Played each other 23 times in 1993, 8 wins for Coventry, 10 wins for QPR, and 5 draws. Just won to beat the past 4 games for Coventry, of course, 50% form up against a QPR side who've won 4, and they're about 67% form for them at the moment. Of course, last round over at the Rico was a 3-2 win for Coventry way back at September 2020. They also played each other the reverse fixture at Loftus Road. This season was a 2-0 win for QPR. Coventry beating a 4-1 win over Peterborough last round. QPR QPR picking up a 1-0 win over West Brom. Big win for them as well. Coventry 8-5 at the Ritchie, 9-5 is QPR, 9-4 is your draw. Quite tight across the board here. Going to go with a 2-2 draw on this one. Reading up against Huddersfield, must-win game. Of course, big opportunity for Reading to maybe get 6 points here. Played each other 24 times, these two sides, 1995, 9 wins for Reading, 10 wins for Huddersfield, and we've got 5 draws. Of course, Reading coming at you, 3 defeats on the bounce up against Huddersfield side, unbeaten in the last 6 games. No, well, at least the last 6 games, winning 4 of the last 6 as well. 83% form for them at the moment. Of course, last time at the Matchday was a 2-2 draw way back in May 2021. Of course, they also played each other at the Macau Pine John Smith's Kirklees Stadium way back, of course, at the start of the season. 4-0 win it was for Huddersfield. Of course, the odds, well, the Huddersfield did draw with Swansea. Reading did lose to Middlesbrough. Of course, 13-8 is your Reading, 17-10 is your away win, 11-5 is your draw. Quite tight to call this one as well. I'm going to go with Huddersfield to nick it 2-0 win, and probably Reading will fire the manager on the back of that one then. Forest up against Derby, a bit of a crunch clash this one. All eyes will be on this as well, I think. When is it? Is it the early kickoff? I'm trying to see it there, but it is the early kickoff. Of course. Now these two sides play each other according to my eyes around about 43 times since 10-9-3, 11 wins for Forest, 14 wins for Derby, and we had 18 draws. Back-to-back wins though for Forest at the moment. Of course, 67% form up against the Derby side, 75% form, just one defeat the past 6 games for them as well. Last time around over at the City ground was a 1-1 draw. And of course, they also played each other at Pride Park at the start of the season, also a 1-1 draw. The last 4 opportunities to the two sides all ended up 1-1. Forest picking up a 1-0 win over Millwall. Derby picking up a 2-0 win over Sheffield United. Of course, look at the odds on this one. We have 11-10 on is your Forest, 16-5 is your Derby, 12-5 is your draw. Forest under Matey Boy look good at the moment, but of course Pride Park, Derby are fighting for their lives. Again, going to go with a draw, 2-2 for me on this one. Sheffield United up against Luton Town. Of course, let's get into this one then. Shall we have Bramall? Now these two sides have played each other 7 times since 1994. 3 wins to Sheffield United, 2 wins to Luton, and we have 2 draws. Back-to-back defeats though for Sheffield United up against the Luton Town side. But of course, just lost once the past 6 games, 67% form for them. The moment, of course, that's around at Bramall with a 4-0 win for Sheffield United. In fact, the away side hasn't won this game since Sheffield United beat Luton way back in 1994. It's been a long, long time since the away side won. Of course, Derby County did beat Sheffield United. Of course, in fact, it's actually been back-to-back games for Sheffield United without scoring a goal. It'll be 3 matches, of course, including the Preston game here. Of course, Luton Town beaten 3-2 win over Bournemouth last time around, but of course they'll draw with Reading in my eyes as well. The odds on this one then, shall we? We have Sheffield United 65 on for the Richie, 10-3 is your away win. That's Luton Town, and 5-2 is your draw. I'm going to make Sheffield United win this one, 1-0 win for them, of course, to get themselves back to winning ways at long last. Kicking on forward then, shall we have Stoke City taking on Fulham, of course, in a bit of a zinger thing at the top of the table. Of course, Stoke looked good against who was it, Hull City this past Sunday, of course, but they're going to be locking horns this coming. I'm trying to get the game here. Is this the right one? Yes, it is. It is this one here. Of course, taking place at the Bet365 Stadium. Played 18 times, 2007, 9 wins for Fulham, 8 wins for Stoke, and 1 draw. Of course, back-to-back wins for Stoke at the moment, 58% form up against the Fulham side, who've won 3 in the bounce. There'll be 4 in the bounce, including the result against Birmingham. However, last time played at the Bet365 was a 2-0 win for Stoke. Of course, Stoke coming at you on a 2-0 win over Hull. Fulham beating, of course, Bristol City last around. The odds here on this one, of course, go in favour of Fulham. They are red-hot favourites for this one. Stoke are your underdogs on this. But I'm going to go with a result here, a surprise one. Stoke to take the 2-1 win. It's a bit of a dent in maybe Fulham's hopes, as I think Stoke have got that knack, especially at home. So 2-1 win for them. Swansea taking on Preston, of course, on Saturday, January the 22nd. Of course, played each other, according to my eyes, around about, what are we looking at here? 14 times since 2004, 8 wins for Swansea, 4 wins for Preston, and 2 draws. Just 1 and 6 though for Swansea at the moment, of course, up against Preston's side, who have won, of course, just 1 defeat. That's 4 for them, 50% form as well. Last round over in Wales, that was a 1 win for Preston. That was back in, of course, April 2021. I'm not too sure if the fans will be back for this one, but of course, we'll have to wait and see about that. Actually, Preston have actually won back-to-back. They did beat them earlier in the season as well, over in Deepdale. Was a 3-1 win for the Nobbers as well. Swansea picking up a draw against Huddersfield. Preston picking up a draw against Birmingham last round. Look at the odds on this one then, shall we have Swansea 23-20 for the victory, 23-10 is your draw, 5-2 is your way win. That is, of course, Preston North End. 2-1 win for the hosts here. Swansea get back to winning ways. Preston take the L on this one. And then finally, we have West Brom up against Peterborough, of course, down at the Hawthorns. Now, these two sides have played each other, according to my eyes, around about 11 times since 1993. 8 wins for West Brom, of course, 1 win for Peterborough, and we have 2 draws, of course. Just 1 win and 6 though for West Brom at the moment. Peterborough coming at you, winning 2 and losing 2 at the last 4, 42% form for them as well. Last round at the Hawthorns was a 2-2 draw, while I was in the FA Cup way back in January 2016. Last time played though in the league was in the Championship back in 2009. It was a 2-0 win for West Brom. Of course, West Brom did lose to QPR last time. Peterborough did get stuffed by Coventry last time around. Look at the odds here. 11-4 is your West Brom on this one. 11-4 is your West Brom. 7-2 is your draw, and 72 is your away win. That is Peterborough. I've just looked ahead here. Of course, Rovers. Sorry, I'm going to go with a win for West Brom here, 2-0 win for them. But I've just noticed that the next round of matches are pretty much right on the coattails of the Rovers game. So I might give you the next round of matches on Sunday, next Sunday. For this one, and we'll curtail the Rovers game in there as well. But anyway, regardless of all that, get your predictions in. Those were my picks. These are get your picks in as well using the link. Get them amongst it. Of course, if you think yourself are a EFL Championship expert, League One expert, League Two expert, or want to get involved into content creation in football in another way, of course, get involved with me. Let me know down below in the old chat section, of course. Also, or better still, follow me on Twitter, DM me directly. Of course, we'll have a little chat. Of course, I'll talk about the plans I've got in place, which have room for you. Basically, I'm trying to create my band of Avengers, and I want you to be part of the process as well. I can elaborate on all of it, because I think you might be thinking, hang on a minute, well, what's the plus side for me? I can tell you what the plus side is for you. But of course, in order to do so, let's have a chat. Until then, dudes, I'll see you soon for the next one. Of course, smash your subscribe, smash your thumbs up. Until then, boys, I'll see you soon. Until then, Dunzoed.